Okay, welcome to this video. This video I'm going to explain user-defined functions in Python. And you know what that user-defined functions are different from inbuilt functions in the way that they have been defined by the user and their actions, their tasks are defined by the users. Okay, so how we can define user-defined functions in Python? Let's go in details. So when we have to define a user-defined function in Python, the syntax will be like this. Here we will be having a keyword that is def, then the name of the function, and then the parenthesis, and inside parenthesis there will be the parameters or the arguments to be passed to the function, and then there will be this colon to mean that this is the end of this definition, and then there may be some optional docstring that will be actually telling about what the function will be doing, and this is the optional part. You will skip this and see how we have to put this docstring by using these triple double quotes on both the sides. The docstring will be there, and after that there will be a statement or set of the statements that will be executing for this function. And see, there will be this indentation at the beginning of each statement to tell that all these statements are the part of this body of this function. Okay, so these are the basic things which a function will be having in this Python language. Okay, so let's discuss few examples and try to define some user-defined functions. Okay, so let's begin with this very basic function, that is greet, and that function is basically taking one parameter, that is name, and then after that we have this docstring that is telling what this function is doing. This function greets to the person passed in as a parameter. So mainly passing the name of the person in this parameter, and then it will be printing this hello, this name. Okay, this is a very simple example. Let's try to execute this function and see. Yes, it will be taking this value, and then it will be printing this hello, this one. Okay, so let's change this value to, let's say, this Hannah, and then re-execute this function. We are passing this name of the person as Hannah, and it is printing that hello Hannah. So when we will be executing this statement, basically we are calling the function greet, and the values that goes inside these parentheses will be assigned to this parameter of the function, and it will be taken as input to this function, and that will be processed inside that function. Okay, so this is a simple example. Okay, then moving to the next example where we can return some values from the function, and by returning a value from the function, we means that after calculation or after execution of the function, it will be returning back some value to the statement that is calling it. Okay, so if we see this example, we are calling this function absolute value here inside this print function. Okay, so after this call is made, this function is going to execute the definition part of this function, and after execution of that, when it will be returning to this print statement, it would take some value with it. That is the meaning of the return value by a function. In the similar way, when we are again calling this function with another value, it will be returning some value from the execution. Okay, so when we are calling this function with this parameter 2, it will take this value as this attribute, and will be assigned to this num, and inside the function we are we are applying the conditions, or we are applying some operations on the value just collected inside this num. So based on if the value is greater than 0 or equal to 0, we are going to return it uh, return the num as it is. If the value is less than 0, then we are going to return this minus num. Means we are going to return our absolute value of the num which we will be passing to the function. Okay, so let's see what happens when we execute this function. Okay, so when we execute this function, it is when we pass this value 2 to this absolute value function, it will be returning the 2 as it is, and so we are getting this output as 2. But when we pass this value as minus 4, it will be taking that minus 4 as this parameter, or will be assigned to this num, and inside that is the condition is false, so this else part will be executed and will be returning that minus of num, that is minus of 4, that is plus 4. Okay, so in this way we can return the values from the function. So then coming to the scope and life type of the variables inside functions. And scope, when we say scope of a variable, the scope means the locations of inside the program to which any particular variable is accessible, and lifetime means of the time till that particular variable is accessible or is available inside the program. So if we consider any local variable inside any function, then the scope of that variable is the body of that function only, means that variable is accessible inside that function only. And if we go outside that function, then the value of that function is lost. So here if we use this variable x inside this my function, and we assign some value of x is equal to 10, and then we print the value of that variable inside that function. And after that, when we come back, or when we come outside that my function, and then we reassign a new value, that is x is equal to 20, and then we try to print that value. So now see what is happening when we start when we will be executing this program. The execution will begin from this point. Okay, when we assign x is equal to 20, and after that we call this my function. When this call will be made, the program flow will be jumping to the definition of this my function. Okay, and it will be executing this statement, that is x is equal to 10, and then it will be printing value inside function. So we are getting this value inside function 10, and after completion of that, it will be coming back to this statement, and then it will be printing value outside x. See, my function also has this x variable, and it is printing the value of x. But when it comes back, or when the definition part is over, the value of x that is available inside my function is no more available to the outside world, and we are getting the copy of this particular x, that the x is equal to 20 is being printed here, not the value of x that is available inside this function. Okay, so this is how the scope and lifetime of the variables inside the function are demonstrated. Okay, then how we can pass the arguments to the functions, and how we can make the arguments mandatory or the optional ones, or how we can pass the default values to the arguments. Okay, so again we are using the same function, that is great, but now instead of having one variable, we are one parameter, we are having two parameters that are the name and the message. Okay, and then when we are making call to this function, we have to pass two uh, two parameters, and the values that are passed at the call time will be assigned to the values to the parameters inside the definition as per their positions. Like Monica is present at this first position and the message is present at the second position. So this Monica is going to be assigned to this name, and whereas this message is going to assign to this MSG. Okay, so their assignment will be in this way. And also when we have defined a function with the two parameters, it means the number of arguments are fixed, and we cannot call that function with less number of arguments. It means if we execute this function with a single argument, that will create an issue because there is a mismatch in number of arguments at the call time and the number of arguments at the runtime. Okay, so see, when we are trying to execute this function with a single argument, we are getting a runtime issue. Okay, so but when we call this function with two arguments, so it should succeed. Okay, now the two arguments are there, and then we are able to do the things as expected. Okay, so next, can we have some default values to the arguments? The meaning of the default values is that if we do not pass some value to a particular argument, then some default values will be taken by the function, and those values will be assigned to that particular parameter to which we want that some default value is to be assigned. Okay, so like in this function definition, I'm using again two parameters that are name and the message, but here I am assigning some value to this message, that is good morning, and that is basically how we can make a parameter of default type. So when if I do not pass the value of this message, this default value will be taken as this good morning. Okay, so now if we define the function in this way, that there is some mandatory parameter, and there are some we can say default parameters, then we must take care of one thing, that if we have some default parameter there, then all the there may be multiple default parameters, then all those default parameters must be on the right hand side of this default parameter. That is, all such parameters that are mandatory or whose values will be passed at the call time should be on the left side, whereas all the default parameters should be on the right hand side. Okay, so here we are creating this great function again, and we have two parameters. One is mandatory and one is the default parameter. Okay, and see, when we are executing this function, we do not pass two parameters. Okay, see, I am calling this function in this way, that great Kate. Okay, so when I execute this function, when we call this function with a single parameter, that is the value of this mandatory parameter is being passed, that is Kate, and then it is picking the value of default parameter from the definition part, and that's why we are getting this output, that is hello Kate, good morning. But when we pass the value of both, that is this name and the message, then the definition of the message or the value of the message defined inside the definition part of the function is overridden. That is, the value that we will be assigning at the call time will be taken, will be given to this message, and that is going to be printed. And see why we are getting this output. So the name is Bruce, and the value of the message is how do you do. So instead of getting this good morning, we are getting this how do you do as the second output in this second call. Okay, so in this way we can have functions with some mandatory and some default parameters. Okay, and also when we have a mix of this mandatory and default parameters, then obviously we can call the function with one or two or more number of arguments depending upon how many default parameters you have assigned there. Okay, then next we discuss the keyword arguments or the positional arguments in Python. Basically, when we pass the values to some function, their assignment to the parameters in the definition are assigned as per their positions. So sometimes we do not want that, and we want to pass the values at the whole time in any arbitrary we can say positions or in any arbitrary order. Then this Python has a provision of this keyword or the positional arguments for passing the values in such a manner. So see, when we are calling this function greet again, now I'm passing this value of name as Bruce and the message is equal to how do you do. See here with the values I'm also mentioning the name of the parameters. So actually I'm binding the values with the parameters here at the call time only. Similarly here with the message with the values of the message I'm giving the name of the parameter, that is this MSG. So when I pass this when I call this function, it will be going to the definition with these values already assigned to this parameter that are the name and the message. And in the second call, I am inverting their positions. See, in the at the first position, I am passing the value of this message, that is how do you do, and in the second position, I am passing the value of name, that is Bruce. Okay, and see in the outcome we are getting the same output, that is hello Bruce, how do you do. Though I'm passing the values in different order or the positions have been exchanged, but still we are able to trace the values of the particular parameters. So in this way we can pass the positional or the keyword arguments to the functions in Python, and also we can have a mix of the positions and these values. So if we pass the values in this way, like here I am passing the values of the Bruce and also I am mentioning the value of the message, then obviously this is going to tell us that this particular value is for the message parameter. That is how do you do is going to be assigned to message, whereas the another value is going to be assigned to the first parameter, that is the name. Okay, so again we are getting the same thing, that is hello Bruce, how do you do. So in this manner we can have positional or keyword arguments in Python. Okay, then moving further, and that is how we can have arbitrary number of arguments in inside a function in Python. That is, we are not sure that how many values actually we will be passing at the call time. So that is feasible in Python. There is a one mechanism to handle this thing in Python. So that is actually the similar. We have this regular expressions in Python where we use this star operator to means 0 or n number of occurrences. Similarly here we are putting this star at the beginning of this parameter. It means that there will be 0 or more number of the occurrences of the parameters at the call time, and all those are to be accepted as valid inputs to this function. So it won't create any issue if we pass any number of arguments to this function, or even if we do not pass any value to this function. Okay, see, we are defining the function in the same way, and only the difference is this, we have put this star in front of this parameter names. So inside this functions, we are just printing the values of the names we are passing to this function. Okay, so when we are calling this function, we are passing so many values, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 5 values are being passed to this greet, and see, all the values are being handled with this single parameter, that is the names. Okay, so this star basically tells us that there will be multiple values or 0 values for this single parameter names. And also, let's try to execute this function without any parameter. I'm not passing any value to this greet, and still see here. So even if I'm not passing any value to this function, still it is not creating any runtime issue. So it means it can have 0 or a number of arguments. Okay, then the last thing in the user defined functions in Python is the lambda function. And basically lambda function is similar to inline functions in your C++, where we have the function definition at the time of the calling itself, and we prefer to have inline. We prefer to have lambda function when the statements or the body of the function is very small. So generally, this body or the set or the statements or the body or the statement of the function is of one line only, or the size is generally one line. So see this example here. Okay, so to define the lambda function, this is the syntax, where we, instead of this def keyword, we will be using lambda keyword that is available in the Python, and then there will be the parameters or the arguments that will be taking as input to this function, and then there will be the expressions, means the body of the lambda function. Okay, so like here I am using this function. The name of the function is double, and means I'm doubling the value that will be given as input. So here double then equal to lambda, and then this is the input parameter, that is x, and then this is the body of the lambda function, that is x multiplied by 2. And similarly, I am defining this function dts, that is again a type of lambda function, and now it is taking two parameters, that are x and y, and it is calculating this x square plus y cube. Okay, and similarly I'm creating this another lambda function, that is abs square, that is again lambda type of the function. Now it is taking two parameters a and b, and it is calculating a square plus b square plus 2ab, that is a plus b whole square, and then I am calling the lambda functions in this way. So here I am passing double with the value 5, so it is going to call this particular lambda function with x is equal to 5. When I am calling this dts35, so it is going to call this lambda function with x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 4. And likewise, when I am calling this abc square with 2 and 3, so then it will be calling this lambda with a is equal to 2 and b is equal to 3, and then we will be getting this output. Okay, so it was all about the functions and the basics in Python. Hope you like the video. If you like the video, then please like it and subscribe the channel. Thank you.